This is Josh from Zeplin, and I'm excited to show you around and give you some tips on how to get the most out of Zeplin right away. So my crew is building our new app, Snack Overflow, and it's time to hand off designs to our developers for our new marketplace experience. I'll start by creating a new project in Zeplin. I'm currently designing the iOS version of the app, so I'll start by selecting that project type so my specs, code snippets, and file types will be compatible with what my developers need to code. And then I'll name my project here. Now I'm ready to publish my designs to my Zeplin project. I'll be using Figma today, but if you're using another design tool that Zeplin supports, you can find some handy instructions for them right here in the app. Now in Figma, I'll select the screens that are ready to publish, then open the Resources menu and search for Zeplin in the Plugins tab. And you'll be asked to log in if this is your first time. Then I'll choose my project and export. Some designers may be used to just sharing a link to the design file, but I want to keep everyone out of any designs that are still in progress, so Zeplin can be a more organized space for them to navigate. And as these screens finish publishing to Zeplin, I can click here to open that screen in the Zeplin web app or the desktop app. So you don't need to download the Zeplin desktop app when publishing designs from Figma, but I already have the desktop app open, so I'll just slide over there and see that my screens have started to populate in my project dashboard. One thing you might notice is that there are fewer screens in Zeplin than what I had selected in Figma to be published. But a couple of these screens are actually variants of each other, and because of the naming convention I used on my frames to declare my variants with -v followed by the variant name, Zeplin automatically grouped them to keep my space more organized. Like this group of search screens, where a user can search for snacks in Snack Overflow, you can switch between viewing the default screen and variants for finding search results, as well as the no result state. To manually add screens to a variant group, I can just stack one screen onto another, and that will help make my project dashboard look a lot less cluttered. Now I'm going to add a few more screens here from Figma using the same process as before. And as I hover my cursor in between the screens on my project dashboard, you'll see these separators pop up, and I can click on one of them to create a section in my project for better organization. At Snack Overflow, we organize our work by feature, so I'll name this Marketplace Search. And later on, if these sections were to grow even larger, you could nest them into subsections too. In previous companies I worked, we organize our screens by sprint stage, but bottom line, you can set this up however your team organizes your workflow. Sometimes I wish my team could understand my designs without any explanation, but since we haven't hired any mind readers, I'll use Zeplin to create structured annotations. Let's add some annotations to a screen that everyone in your workspace will be able to see, regardless of which role or access level they have in your workspace. I want to make sure that my developers know that this button should be disabled when the item is already added to a cart. So I'll go ahead and click down here to add an annotation to this screen, click where I want the annotation to be pinned, and add the behavior annotation type. And again, since annotations are also helpful to other stakeholders like product managers or QA, there are no role level restrictions on who can see annotations in Zeplin. I can also add a GIF to help get my point across. And here there will also be a summary of all my annotations for the screen, which is super convenient. Overall, annotations allow me to create visually organized design instructions that are always in context, straightforward to understand, and remain attached to the screen. No chance of missing another requirement. Now, if I'm going to share designs, I should share the user journey too, so back on my project dashboard, I'll click this icon to add the screens in this section to a flow. And now I can view it by clicking here or selecting the Flows tab. I actually already started a bit of the prototyping process in Figma, and those connectors will be brought in here too, which saves me a bit of time. And it's easy to build out the rest of the flow by connecting these screens and adding labels. So at this point, my Zeplin project is looking good. I've got my app screens in here organized, annotated, and laid out in a clean user flow, so my team has everything they need to review for the upcoming sprint. Our team uses Slack, so I'm going to take a moment to set up the Zeplin and Slack integration. I'll connect this project to the Snack Overflow channel, so that everyone there can get automatic notifications when there are any updates to the designs. There's also other options you can customize too, so that everyone can stay informed about which design updates matter most to them. Now, rather than having to send a new message and new details to all the different people on your team when you need to make a design update, Slack will do it for you and your teammates can jump right into that screen. And speaking of your team, it's now time to invite them into Zeplin. I'll just enter their email addresses here and they'll get notified, or if you share a link to the project, once they're invited, they'll be able to access right away. Alright, I hope this demo helped you get to know Zeplin so you can start documenting and communicating your design vision more clearly with your developers and everyone else who contributes to the final product. And as always, feel free to reach out with any other questions. I'll see you next time.